I'm constantly worried about when this is gonna stop. I'm constantly worried about when life's gonna go back to normal. I'm constantly worried if we're gonna pick it up when we go to the grocery store or with our groceries. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I am going to sit down and talk to you guys about the last month of our lives, get you guys up to date, and then we are going to start daily vlogging again. We've really missed daily vlogging and it's time for us to come back. Our lives have been a little crazy the last month where we had to put it on hold. The last month we have watched old videos and we really miss vlogging, and it's time for us to start capturing these memories again. So I hope you guys are excited. I know you guys love watching us just as much as we love watching the memories. So let me get you guys up to date. It has been a little crazy to say the least. Our lives have been completely turned upside down. I never, ever in a million years would have thought this would be happening. We do want to protect other people's lives and we want to stay safe, so we are doing what's best and what you should be doing and staying home. With that being said, we're going to go back to the beginning of March. The beginning of March, I had just accepted a position with Louis as being his loan processor. His loan processor was no longer with him and he needed somebody really fast, and that is when I stepped up to the plate to help my husband out. My 3 older kids were at school during this time, and I figured I only had Lincoln at home. Fran had agreed to help me with Lincoln. He did still go to school 2 days a week. She had time during the week for herself as well. Everything was going great until the next week. Our lives were completely turned upside down. March 9th, it was time for spring break. We had thought, okay, perfect, we'll get this time together as a family. We'll take the kids bowling, we'll take the kids to the Ninja Warrior place, we'll take them to the casino that we normally take them to, not to gamble, but we usually get a free room and we take turns gambling at night once they're asleep. There's always an adult in the room, but before they go to sleep, we always take them because there's a bowling alley there. There's also a heated pool that they love to go to because, of course, we don't have a pool here, and they really look forward to the kind of staycation. So originally, that's what we were gonna do. However, the night before we were supposed to leave, I got a call from my dad saying, Nicole, you know I'm not a doomsday type of person, but you need to go to the grocery store and you need to stock up of food for 2 weeks in case you guys are to get COVID-19 and you would be isolated to your house. And that is what we decided to do. So when my dad called and told me that, I knew that's exactly what we needed to do, that cases were now in our area and we needed to be safe. Then that night is when the NBA shut down because they had a positive case. And I knew billions of dollars were on the line there, that they were going to be losing a lot of money, that this had to be serious for the NBA to shut down. So that is when we decided to cancel our trip. We realized that casinos weren't a safe place to be with everyone touching and there being a lot of groups of people. So we decided to cancel our trip, and that morning instead we went to Costco and Target, got everything we needed for 2 weeks. We decided we were going to now be staying home. My father-in-law was told that day coming home because originally he was going to stop at the casino and meet us. However, he just drove home and he was told that he was no longer going to be traveling for his job, that they were doing a travel hold for right now because they didn't want their employees to get COVID-19. Leroy's job, he goes into hospitals. Right now, they're not really letting people into the hospital except for the people that are working on the instruments. And Leroy doesn't work on the instruments. He manages the people that do work on the instruments. So he was told that he was no longer going to be traveling. It was probably in his best interest anyways, him being 62. He's in great health, but he was 62, and in this time we were now being told that people in Italy that were over the age of 65 were no longer getting ventilators. So we couldn't risk the fact that Fran and Leroy were older in age, and I would never be able to live with myself if they got the virus and they weren't able to get a ventilator. So we decided we were going to stay home. We weren't going to let the kids go out anymore. They were no longer allowed to go to the grocery store because, of course, you know, kids, they touch everything. My kids jump on everything in the grocery store. So we have now told them that they aren't allowed to go to the grocery store. Unfortunately, that Saturday we were told that the school was going to have an extended spring break, and the next week they would let us know what the answer is for the future. They were not telling us that we were going to be shut down for the rest of the year. Now, Dallas County had came out and said that they were shut down for the rest of the year, but we had not been told that yet. We had just been told that we needed to stay home, enjoy an extended spring break at home, and we would be told what the future was in the next coming days. This is when I started doing schoolwork at home with the kids. I didn't have like a set schedule or anything like that. I was just trying to stay afloat with taking care of 4 kids, doing my work, and not lose all sanity that I had, because of course you have kids bored in a house, and then you have me who's working, you have Lewis who's working, you have Leroy who's working. Well, that's too much for my mother-in-law. She was helping out as best as she can, and guys, we were all drowning. We were like, the first week we were like, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're gonna be able to do this, just because everybody needs food, everybody needs everything. And it was raining the first week, so the kids couldn't go outside, and it was just like so much. I think the first week I was beside myself. I was struggling. I wasn't getting ready. I wasn't taking a shower because I quite frankly didn't have time. At this point, interest rates had dropped so low, everybody was wanting to refinance. So Louis' work was so freaking busy. Like, we were slammed. And then you have all 4 kids at home. I'm slammed with them. They're like a full-time job in itself, really more than a full-time job. So I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was so stressed out. I cried every night and told Lewis, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. Like, this is the worst time for me to start a job, but I knew he needed me so much because he's what pays the bills. That job is what pays the bills. And my kids are at home, and I should be so thankful for this time because I'm never going to get this time back with them. So I was having all these emotions, and then I was getting ready to start my time of the month, and I was just beyond tired. I was struggling in itself that first week. The next week, we were told that the kids were going to start online school. They would have assignments from their teachers on Google Classroom, and we would get computers for them. And so I went to the district and I picked up the computer from them. And at this point, I was driving home, and I could not help myself but cry as I was driving home because I was so stressed on everything I was doing, on top of realizing that this was going to be our new way of living, of learning, of life. It all happened so fast that it was so overwhelming to me. I am a planner, and for once in my life was not planned by me. It was planned by someone else, and I was trying to adapt to this new way of working, this new way of learning, this new way of life, and I was having such a hard time with it. I was struggling. I started struggling with anxiety. I've never had anxiety before, and if you do have anxiety, my heart goes out to you, because the amount of anxiety I had then was like, I didn't know what to do. I was in a state of depression and anxiety because I didn't know what the future held. The unknown was so scary. You didn't know, and we still don't know how many people are going to die from this. We still don't know how many people are going to get this virus. That the unknown still eats me inside. I'm still having anxiety from it. I then started going into a bit of depression just because I kept being torn, and I'm so thankful for a job because at this point people were starting to get laid off. And then on top of that, I was so sad that I was, having to tell my kids, okay, you guys need to be quiet. Daddy and Grandpa and Mommy are working, that I just wanted to be able to enjoy this time with my kids, that it was just this struggle that I didn't know how I was going to cope with it. It was brought on so instantly that I couldn't help myself but cry. I didn't want my kids to freak out about it. I still don't want them to freak out about it. They know about the coronavirus. They know that people are losing their lives. They know that they need to keep their hands washed so people don't get it. They know that they need to social distance. But I don't want to freak them out and playing the news all the time to make them worried, because I know that when you go through something in your childhood, it a lot of times affects you as you grow into your older age and your older adolescence, that I don't want what's happening now to freak my kids out in their future years. So we've tried to have this balance of what we share with the kids and what we don't share with the kids. They do know what it is. They know this new type of learning. The first week of online learning was extremely difficult just because, like I said, I was working. I was trying to now school 3 kids. They had it all lined out on what they needed to do, but the kids, especially the twins, are so young that they don't really use computers. I don't know if your guys' kids are like mine, but the twins and Tatum, they don't really get on computers. They know iPads. And so they did not know how to navigate through Google Classroom. So I was sitting there, you know, helping them with each button and doing everything with them. And on top of working, that if you're at home and you were working at this time of the kids starting to online school, I'm sure you felt the same way I felt. I felt overwhelmed. I felt, how the heck am I going to keep up with this? Are my kids going to fail or miss out on school because this is the new way of learning? But thankfully, the teachers have been so amazing. The principal has been so amazing with knowing this is new for everyone, that's not going to be perfect, that you just have to try, and you have to try to work with the kids. And you know, here at our house, we try to do a lot of things that aren't necessarily on the computer. Like, they clean their room, they make their beds, they get dressed, they help out with the dishes, a lot of life skills that they're going to need in the future than sitting down at the computer all the time. So I really try to tell them, like, okay, let's work for 15 minutes, because the twins have this little of an attention span. Mainly they work on the computer for about 15 minutes and then they go and do something else to help out, and then they'll come back to the computer. So it's not really sitting in front of the computer for an extended period of time right away, because their little brains are like squirrel. We just had to find our new normal. The first week of online school was very difficult. Again, like I said, I was very stressed out. I was struggling. And then the second week got a lot better with now the kids are learning how to navigate, and I have felt more hope, but then I do feel a lot of sadness, because when you hear on the news on how many people are getting the virus, how many people are dying, how many people are dying alone, it breaks your heart. And I don't know how many times I told the kids, you can't do that because we can't go to the hospital right now. Like, fears that we have as citizens now that we never, I don't know, I guess I didn't bat my eyes toward. I always, for my kids, have been like, okay, you need to be cautious when you're doing something like that. But now I'm like, you cannot do that because we cannot go to the hospital right now. We can't get this. We can't bring this home. And it's just been a lot more of myself worrying about things than I ever had before. I wasn't the type to worry about things, and now I'm constantly worried. I'm constantly worried about when this is gonna stop. I'm constantly worried about when life's gonna go back to normal. I'm constantly worried if we're gonna pick it up when we go to the grocery store or with our groceries. I'm constantly worried if my father-in-law and my husband are gonna keep their jobs. It's just so much to worry about. And like I said, I'm so thankful for my husband and my father-in-law to have their jobs. To this point now, guys, so many people have lost their jobs, have been furloughed, that now payments are starting to happen, because now we're into a whole new month. We're in April now. Bills are due. And if you don't have a job and you don't have a savings, how are those bills going to be paid? Can't help but be saddened for all the people that have lost their jobs and that were furloughed. I've had some family members that this is affected, and it's heartbreaking. I've never felt so much sadness in my life. I've just been an emotional wreck for everything. As of right now, we are still on lockdown, meaning we have to stay at our house unless it's something essential that you have to go to. Anything that's non-essential is not currently opened. They do believe that this week we are going to start plateauing. My hope is that we do. My fear is that we all go back into the world and it starts spreading again. We truly do not know how this is going to end up. And For the first time ever, yesterday was Easter, that we couldn't have social gatherings. And as much as I was okay with that, because I was okay that I don't want this to spread, I want to stay home, I want to stay safe, I want to keep my family safe, I want to keep others safe, because we don't know that if we go out, we could pick it up and we may not have any symptoms to it, but it may kill somebody else. And so you're just having to be very aware of your surroundings. So I knew that Easter yesterday, we couldn't go out. We couldn't go and see anybody. I knew that's what needed to happen at a time where we usually go out and do things and we see people and we go to church. We're being told to stay home. Thankfully, our technology is where it's at right now, that we're able to Zoom and conference call people in, and a lot of people are being able to work from home where they can keep their jobs, or a lot of people are being able to see church through Facebook and through other social media outlets. That's what keeps my heart happy, that Easter wasn't completely canceled. My heart hurts that this is the new norm for right now. A part of me is so grateful and thankful for my life, and I'm so thankful that we're healthy right now, but my heart can't not hurt for all those people that have lost their lives or have had family members that lost their lives. You just turn on the TV and you hear of this wife that never got to say goodbye to her husband, and I just think, like, there's no closure there. Like, it hits you so fast. And oh, that's just a whole nother video, guys, that I can't even go there, because I can't. There's been so many times that I've cried, but then yet I'm so thankful that we're healthy. And it's just like, it's this struggle of struggling. But I can tell you, if you stay home, we can help flatten the curve. We can help save a lot of lives by staying home. So please stay home. Please be safe. Just know that we do not know what this is going to be like at the end of it. We don't. We hope. I feel an ounce of hope when you see China and how they've reopened. But I also pray and pray so much that it won't come back, because our world can't handle this happening again. So that is what's going on. I thank you guys so much for staying home, practicing social distancing. So now where we are in our life is we're still staying home. We're getting through it. We're right now all healthy, thankfully. Friend or myself go out once a week and we get groceries, sometimes once every 2 weeks, but you guys, we're a big family, so we go through a lot of food. And now my kids want snacks all the time, so we're trying to limit snacks. We're staying home, we're playing games, we're doing a lot of family time. Yes, we miss our friends and family, but we know that we need to stay home. And at least the kids are able to learn from home, that school's not completely done for the year in a sense. We have been told that we will find out May 4th if they're going back to school. My thoughts on that is that it's going to be canceled for the rest of the year, and online learning is going to remain throughout the end of the year. We're so close to the end of the year. I don't see them having us go back for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But you never know. I feel like nowadays things are changing so fast. We're told one thing and then something else. Now we're being told that it's not just affecting the older population, it's affecting people with underlying health conditions, but then some people are passing away that have no underlying health condition. So you just don't know. I don't think anybody is out of the woods with anything. We are just gonna have to stay up to date with everything. I have been asked if we are still moving. Unfortunately, we are not moving anymore. I will do a whole nother video on that. If you are a nurse, a doctor, a firefighter, a policeman, a grocery store clerk, if you are a bagger, if you're a stalker that's stocking the shelves, if you are anybody that is having to go to work right now and risk your lives or risk your family's lives, my heart goes out to you. I hope you stay safe. We are praying for you guys. Guys, we're literally praying every day. We pray 3 times a day at every meal, and we just hope that this stops and it doesn't kill anybody else, because our country we cannot go through anything more. I love you guys. I hope you guys stay safe, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye.